G'day fellow creatures of the internet, this is the must see and subscribe to the guy here on YouTube, Bruzo Dragonius, or the online ambassador, of course, same name. Well, anyway, I'm very, very sorry that I didn't end up getting all this sort of content, or not being sort of consistent with them upload, because the fact being is that I just have some sort of a writer's block and all that kind of stuff. And I think that really happens to all of us content creators, that I know for sure that we are generally wanting to end up providing content and all that kind of stuff, and has that sort of mindset that we wanted to provide that content, being in danger of that wouldn't satisfy the damn algorithm on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And being a YouTuber is a bit more of some sort of a stress, so I do apologise for that. So I just sort of thought, well, I know for sure that Valentine's Day is like around, 2 weeks and all that kind of stuff, and I just sort of feel like making a bit of a video on what I would think about with Valentine's Day, or what I really do think. Okay, and to be honest with you, and I know for sure that I've got a Valentine's Day special that I'm working on, which will be out next year, which is another playthrough. All in all, going to mention Valentine's Day in this one video, but today I'm just going to make a bit of a list video about all the days that personally that are out there that are really big around the culture of here in Australia, that to me I really don't give a damn as much. I mean, to me those are just days on the calendar. So this is what the video is about, which is the festivals that were here in Australia that I personally don't really care much about. Now, the first one that I want to think that I just said here again, which is before this video, is that the first mention is, of course, I'm going to mention Valentine's Day. It may be, you may not agree with me of what I'm saying. Maybe you do like these videos, I mean these days yourself, and have them into your heart. So just please take it with a grain of salt, and this is just my opinions only, okay? Even though that everyone has a right to an opinion. But with Valentine's Day, I'm a bit of an old school type person on that matter, because when I think Valentine's Day, I thought, well, I would think of a day of love, not just that, but sort of like, I'm a bit of an old school person when it comes to these festivities, that Valentine's Day is meant to be a day that is about more than friendships, but about relationships, and more than anything, a relationship between two life partners. The way that I would see Valentine's is, your Valentine is someone that you wanted to spend the rest of your life with as a partner, like being as your husband or wife, or if you even if it goes through a homosexual or heterosexual relationship, I don't really care about these sort of things, because to me, love is love, right? Not just a relationship. Like, I do get that your Valentine is your romance partner, no matter what gender or what your sexual preference would be. But to be honest with you, I know that it would be a lot more wholesome type day and all that kind of stuff. And I really do adore these posts of of people wishing each other happy Valentine's Day, which is perfectly fine, because I really do adore that. But deep down inside, I'm just a bit old school in this sort of in these festivities, that to be considered your Valentine is way more out there than being considered, like even way more out there than way above your best friend, right? You know, or just a friend. And as someone that's single-ish or whatever, I really don't consider Valentine's Day as much, to a point that it's one of those days that I just blatantly forgot about, you know. The second day that I wanted to talk about, which I really don't care, is January the 26th. Here in January 26th is considered two separate things. Whether it's the day of mourning or invasion day to the indigenous people here in Australia, to flat out Australian Day to the rest of the country, or to those that are just, that does celebrate it, you know. Like, I'm not discouraging anyone from not celebrating Australia Day because it just celebrates genocide of the indigenous people. And at the same time, I really do respect the indigenous people to a point that I don't want to celebrate Australia Day or any of that, because I do get that it's a day of mourning, and to me it's one of those days where it's just two cultures clashing, to be honest, here in Australia. And with that, I don't want to be like, I feel like the bad guys to some other people that condemns people from celebrating Australia Day, because like, I'm not that much of a wokie. I'm not that much of a woke person, you know. And what I mean that is that, well, I don't go around and say, oh look, oh mate, you know, you are a complete arsehole because you celebrate Australia Day. I know that it's really difficult for me to explain, even though that I'm the one that is an advocate for free speech. You can celebrate whatever day that you want to celebrate. That's fine. Okay? I don't celebrate Australia Day to a point that Australia, the 26th of January is just a date on the calendar either way. It's just a date on the calendar that if I were to work on that day, it would be a complete bonus to get paid extra money, right? So that's another one out of the way. The third festival that I don't really care much about, and to be quite honest with you, I'm starting to, you know, getting introduced of, is Easter. Now, I don't really care. I mean, the reason why I don't really care about Easter, because I've been raised as a kid, I just feel that it's very much of a wasteful day, and that where, even though it's just one of those days where you eat chocolate eggs and all that kind of stuff, and with my family and all that kind of stuff, like, we didn't seem to get much into Easter or Easter egg hunts or anything, or any crap like that, because my parents sort of raised me in a bit of a healthy lifestyle, and besides, Easter eggs are not really that much of a permanent gift. I mean, I know for sure that back in my family that we usually get toys as kids, because at least that they're more permanent. They don't, you know, they don't rot people's teeth and with all the sugar and all that kind of stuff. And besides, Easter to some people is kind of like another Halloween where you just eat chocolate or just binge on chocolate. But the reason why I'm starting to get into Easter again is that as a furry, the only thing that matters to me about Easter, and that's just besides the death and recreation of Jesus Christ, that even though they're being raised in that sort of family and all that kind of stuff. And I know for sure that the only tradition that we had is that we don't eat red meat on Good Friday. But the only thing that is significant to Easter that I absolutely love about Easter is the meet and greet with the Easter Bunny. Because the Easter Bunny is just, to me, the Easter Bunny character is just another furry. It's just another guy in a fursuit. And as someone with autism and that, I am really into meet and greets with furry mascots and or anything that's furries and all that kind of stuff. If you take the Easter Bunny away from that sort of celebration and all that kind of stuff, it's just a complete another day in the calendar in that, because where I know for sure that in Christmas kids meet Santa Claus around Christmas, and around Easter kids meet the Easter Bunny, and in such Easter events and all that kind of stuff, that I don't really care much about the egg hunts and that, because eating chocolate is just an everyday thing, as long as it's in moderation. But however, that the only thing that's significant about to me, instead of the presents, like the other gifts, is meeting the Easter Bunny, because the Easter Bunny is like Santa Claus of Christmas. Without that, it's just another series of dates. It's on the calendar, and yeah, there are hot cross buns and all that kind of stuff. But there are some foods like that you can eat on any other day. So, and another day that I really don't care much about is basically every single, such as Ramadan, Hanukkah, anything that is non-Christian related or something like that. And the thing about it is that even with Ramadan, right, there's like some certain rules that if you were to participate in Ramadan, that there's a lot of, like the thing about it is, if you were to observe Ramadan, you would have to fast, as in not eat like anything, not eat or drink anything besides water. And I know that Muslims and that do take this sort of like as their custom, and I do get that, and I want to be much more respectful of these type of people's religion and all that kind of stuff, regardless. But personally, I just don't think that I can handle fasting for a month to a point, like, and literally starving myself for religious purposes. It's literally bad enough that even if I have to go through various blood tests and all that kind of stuff, that I have to fast for that. But even that, I just can't even handle fasting for a single day. So it's not really much for me. But on the other hand, I really do have a lot of respect and appreciation to those people that are willing to starve themselves like that for their religious thing, because it's their thing. I do respect, So, these are like some of the days. Maybe there could be others that I probably would be thinking about. Maybe it could be a part 2 to this and that. So, so this is like a bit of a question. So, is there any days on the calendar that you think that you really don't care much about? They're just days on the calendar that other people observe, but you won't give it, that you yourself don't care in that. And don't worry, I don't take it with a grain of salt for those comments, even though I really do. I'm very curious, to be honest. Okay? And there's no right or wrong answers. And this is just a bit of a topic that, I will never feel offended on any of those things, because of the rights to freedom of speech and all that kind of stuff. Also, if you do like this video, or if you do want to follow me further, or if you want to support me further, make sure that you press the subscribe button. And if you did, and if you were the first person to know, make sure that you ring that bell icon and turn on notifications so you can be the first person to know. Also, if you want to follow me in other social medias and all that kind of stuff, and ways to give me money, there's things on the description below for that. My gaming tag is Bruzo21 if you wanted to friend me, or meet me in Tamriel or whatever, or if you want to say hi to me, then if you want to meet me in some random places, I guess. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you for watching me rambling on about stuff, and to my new subscribers, thank you so much. Even though that it's like rarely any new subscribers. So I just hope that you have a good day and all that kind of stuff, and thank you for watching me rambling, at least. And as always, may He's guide you all. Bye for now.